Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. Sloka 26. Yato niścalati manaś cañcalam asthiram tatas tato niyamyaitad ātmany vaśaṁ nayet. Now let them eat, but let them eat what is good for them. Let them engage in activities, those activities which is good for them. And that is what has been explained here. From the previous two slokas, 24 and 25th sloka, we learned that one must give up the mamakaram, the possessive nature. And we saw two types. One is sankalpa, that arises from one's mind, and whereas the other one is sparshaja, that happens through the senses. Both has to be given up and should be controlled. Faith and efforts are two main factors that are needed for one to get to this stage. Without the faith and effort, one's own effort, it's not going to be possible to achieve what Krishna is speaking here or advising here. But this Atma program, that is self program, is not something that we are used to. It is new for us. It is certainly difficult, especially the mind and senses, where they constantly like to wander in all directions. Therefore, it's hard to control them. It's like trying to make the playing children to sit in one place and do their studies. It is hard, but nevertheless, the parents does not give up. They try to make the children sit and teach them, and especially teach them the benefit of doing the studies in their current age. Benefits like the happiness that they derive once they complete their studies, the name, the prestige, fame, all those different things are explained to the children, so they understand the value of their studies in that age, where they can spend or focus more time on their studies rather than playing. Likewise, we have to train our mind as well. Teach the mind about the benefits of focusing on Atma, the faults in focusing on material objects. So the differences has to be clearly explained to our mind. This must be a constant program happening to our mind. It has to be constant preaching to the mind, because the mind constantly keeps engaging in other things otherwise. For this, Krishna is giving a way to control the mind and senses in this particular sloka. That is to identify the ways that the mind travels and bring them in the same way. Identify the objects that which the mind pursuing and use those objects in the way it helps one to focus on the self. Identify the sense that the mind is using to pursue the sense object and engage the senses in a better way. These are the key techniques that's been covered in this sloka to control the mind. Let's see the word by word meaning. Cañcalam, flickering by nature. Asthiram, unsteady on the ātma topic. Manaḥ, the mind. Yataha, whichever object. Niścalati, becomes verily agitated. Tatas, from all those objects. Ātmany, the mind. Niyamyaitad, regulating. ātmany, on the self only. Vaśaṁ nayet, should subjugate into focus. Translation: from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Here in the Sloka, two terms which has been used, cañcalam, asthiram, sounds to be similar, but they have different purpose. Both the terms indicate that as the mind does not stay steady on anything, it cannot stay focused on the self as well. Cañcalam refers to being unsteady by nature, whereas asthiram refers to that will not remain steady on the self. What to speak about other things? Cañcalam refers to the general form that the mind by default is unsteady. Asthiram is the special form of unsteadiness, that is, when it comes to Atma, certainly it will not stay steady. That's the important point here. Even somehow or the other, if one tried to bring the mind, the cañcalam mind, unsteady mind, the problem is it doesn't remain steady on that particular state for a long time. That is asthiram, not sthiram. Asthiram. Sthiram means stable, steady. Asthiram means doesn't remain steady for a long time. Again goes back into the cañcalam mode. Even if one has decided to turn the mind away from worldly objects and goes to a place where there are not any disturbing elements present, objects present, any traces of these objects can be found, still an opportunity and contact to the senses can arise unexpectedly. Hence, utmost care is to be given and exercised when it comes to yoga. Yato niścalati, tatas tato niyamyaitad, which is leave the mind in its direction and control it. Now, we have to understand this a little closely with the proper meaning. If someone wants to eat, yato niścalati, let them eat. Tatas tato niyamyaitad. If one wants to engage in gambling, yato niścalati, let them gamble. Tatas tato niyamyaitad. Let them gamble in that way. If one wants to engage with opposite gender, yato niścalati, let them do so. Tatas tato niyamyaitad. If one wants to steal or cheat others, yato niścalati, by all means one should do it. Tatas tato niyamyaitad. Maybe this is what Krishna is explaining here. Control the mind by letting it go in its direction. Let them eat whatever they want. Let them do whatever they want and try to control. Well, that's not the recommendation, and that's not even going to be possible. And that's not the meaning of this sloka. Namaste. Hare Krishna.